Welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show on 94.7 The Pulse. Music, interviews, news, and, well, two blokes chatting. Now, here are the two blokes.
It's a song there from Queensland artist in Bradley McCaw. It's called So Glad here on 94.7 The Pulse. It just deserved one of those kind of backgrounds, didn't it? Yeah.
It did.
Hey, what a great song, a real up and about, and we've been having a bit of a theme today, and you've already identified it's something to do with movies. And this one, I've tied in the movies thing because there's a story behind that song that kind of involves a movie as well, and I thought, who better to talk about it than Bradley McCaw himself? Good morning and welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show, Bradley.
Hey, Neil and Rob. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Great to have you here. And one thing, it's
Tie this
hard,
loose end up, Neil.
it's hard to describe in normal words what it's like to see Rob dancing. It's a little bit like watching someone with some kind of a weird medical condition. But whatever it was, you made him do it. And the movie connection, of course, is your song came out with quite a unique film clip. Talk us through that and tell us a bit about yourself.
So this song, first of all, Rob sent us a video and we immediately all threw up and decided not to put it in. It will make sense for those that don't know the film clip. That will make sense in about 2 minutes, so hang with me. It's a teaser in the business, isn't it?
And at the moment, Rob is sitting with his feet up on a chair and he's wearing shorts. And I'm seeing significantly more of Rob than I really want to see. I've seen better legs on a table.
That is a great pair of legs, my friend. You'd wear shorts too if you had legs like this.
With long ones over the top.
Carry on, Bradley.
Sorry, we're talking about you now.
No, I've only got myself to blame. So this film clip we did, right? It's my first single, So Glad. For those that don't know my music, I'm a kind of an old school sounding artist. I love 70s rock and roll, and so it's very inspired by that. I mean, you guys just heard the track. I don't know why I'm sort of saying that, and so we had this idea that this music makes you want to dance with your loved ones in your kitchen. It's kind of like the story I started saying in press when the song first started coming out. And then people started sending me, guys, videos of themselves dancing in the kitchen to the song. Sort of trying in that Australian way of like, haha, you think that's a funny thing to say? Well, here's a video of me dancing, making my muffins and my morning smoothie. And I said, well, the joke's on you. This is a brilliant idea for a film clip. And so we kind of just started, we put the word out. And so this video that you're talking about, this kind of, I guess, this small movie is a collection of people all around the world dancing in their kitchens to the song and just having a bit of fun. And it was so much fun to make.
And I mean, you start off in the film clip with you presumably in your kitchen with a keyboard, which is most unusual because I've got a kitchen. I don't have a keyboard in mine, but to me, it would work any time, but it works even more so now because it's a real connection between people, isn't it? Well,
I think, we're all sort of working out how to bring this sense of lockdown into our normal lives. You know, we all kind of had this idea when we went into COVID, into spending more time in our house than we probably ever have before. We've been here longer than we expected, so now we're sort of trying to transition to some sort of, well, what does this look like after this or including this? And as a musician, you go, okay, so we've got this album we've been working on for a long time. We're very excited about it. You know, we've got incredible features like Paulini and James Morrison and Nathan East, who played bass on it, who plays bass with Eric Clapton and Barbra Streisand and Phil Collins. And it's produced by Lewis Hilton, this Hall of Famer. And we're like, so how do we put this record out we're so proud of during lockdown? And I said, well, I guess we kind of take lockdown to the song, and we just kind of embraced it and made the most of it, you know, as I think everybody is.
Bradley, tell us about your music journey going way back. You don't sound like you're a terribly old chap, and you certainly don't look like one, but have you taken 10 years to be an overnight sensation?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way of putting it. I mean, I started in this career singing with the Ten Tenors, so that was like my first job way back when.
I love the Ten Tenors, by the way.
Incredible act, and that was kind of my starting out. So I was a classical singer, and I kind of had this love of rock and roll during this first part of my career, being a classical singer and a musical theatre performer and a musical theatre writer. So I've written musicals and plays that have been put on in America and the UK and here in Australia. And then I kind of was nursing this little secret of kind of like my love of Billy Joel and all this music, and I had some bands and all sorts of things. And then eventually we just went, you know what, it's time to put this record out. It's time to kind of move towards this, which has always been in my heart. And yeah, we're so proud of it. And people are loving it. Like, it's pretty incredible to see how many people are enjoying it, you know, and like the lovely things that you guys have said. It's a real thrill to know that there is a place for this music in the world today. You know what I mean?
And it's funny, isn't it, that, you know, you've gone through the process of being a, I'll use the term, proper musician, and it's when you let your hair down and actually do the thing you love that you suddenly stumble over something that brings you to the forefront.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? That's a really good way of putting it. I probably can't put it any better than that. I don't know if I've got anything to add to that other than...
We are recording this, by the way, so I'll send you a copy of it. You can use that in your presses if you like, as long as it's appropriate credit given.
That's going to be my ringtone going forward. I think my mum will want it as well, so we've got it on tape.
All right, so here's a difficult one. You've created this little monster. What's the future look like for you? Do you think now you've created a platform for what you really love, that you'll now get the opportunity to do more of what you really love?
Yeah, that's where we are now. This is kind of the doorway into what I'm doing for the next part of my career. You know, artists, you look at any artist and they do a lot of different things at a lot of different times, and sometimes the thing that cuts through isn't the thing that they were kind of doing first, or isn't the thing that they end up doing last. I mean, like Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park films and the great actor, he's a phenomenal jazz pianist. A phenomenal jazz pianist. He's got a band and all sorts of stuff, but that sort of never really cut through. So I think you do go where you're most helpful to society, I guess, and what people enjoy the most. And for me, as I've said, I love the old guys that just had records out every year. You know what I mean? You could set your watch to the fact that Elton John's going to put out another record this year. And that's kind of what I want to do, you know, until they take away the piano from me.
Well, it's interesting. This time last week, we were sitting here talking to Joe Camilleri, and he is literally, he's 77, and he's
73.
just 73, and he's just releasing
his 50th album.
Yeah, his 50th album. So actually, you share a similar publicist, don't you? So you probably knew that already. But you know, that's exactly what he's done, and not just as Joe Camilleri, as Joey Vincent, as Jojo Zepp. So it's been a rebirthing throughout that process. But at the end of the day, he's doing exactly what you're talking about.
I mean, a musician just makes music, right? Paul McCartney. You know, I'm not putting us or me in, you know, Joe Camilleri is an Australian legend, and Paul McCartney is clearly done all right.
Yeah, he goes okay.
And so, but I mean, yeah, you do what you do, you know. Everyone does what they do, and what I do is make music. You know, I've been writing and making songs in lots of different forms for as long as I can remember, and now it's just, yeah, it's this new sound that seems to have a place in the world, which is really exciting. And I mean, if we get to keep making silly videos, I mean, guys, I'm going to hit you up next. I think the next video we're going to do is just us three by the pool or something. I think that's really what the people want. I think that's kind of what they're crying for.
As long as Rob isn't wearing shorts, that's all I'm saying. Right? I don't want to make a big thing of his legs, because he is making a big thing of his legs as we speak.
All right.
But I think the thing is too, I have my own online radio station, as people know, and the kind of music I play is all 60s, 70s, 80s, a bit of 90s, because predominantly that's the sound that normal people want to hear, in my mind. And you know, I have been on record as saying that the word rap is only missing the C from the front of it, and today I noticed somebody in the Herald Sun down here has put that Elton John is finally getting into hip hop because he's having an operation on his hip. But
right.
So I reckon someone's been waiting for that. In fact, I don't think Elton John's having a hip operation at all. I reckon someone's just thought, hey, let's make up a story because it's got a really good headline. But you know, I think what you've done, and part of why I was really taken by the song when Malia sent it through to us, was it's just fun. And people want music to be fun. You want to be going along in the car and embarrassing your kids and your grandkids by singing along. And that's really hard to do when every second word is mother. You know, and just keep doing it.
Yeah, it's good.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I think we, somewhere along the line, I mean, yeah, we look at through the history of music, right? You've got these monsters, what we call in the business monsters, which are people that can just do it like nobody's business, you know. So you've got like Mozart, Beethoven, those guys back then, you know, writing concertos when they were 6.
But none of them made the top 40.
Well, no. Back then, it probably didn't even make them very rich. I mean, today we'd remix it, and yeah, you know, Chuck Elton on it, Dojo Cat, you know.
Although Billy Joel had a crack at Beethoven, but back to you.
But that's right. But then, you've got the guys in the 70s that are making all these songs that we love, and the craftsmanship at that time, and the way that they made the records. I mean, all this live take, the energy that's in those rooms is just people sitting there. Like, can I tell you a story about this record, right? So it's produced by Louis Shelton. Now, Louis Shelton was there when he played on the I Want You Back Jackson 5 record. It's him playing the solo in Lionel Richie's Hello. He's playing on Marvin Gaye record. I could list Seals and Crofts, The Monkees, Last Train to Clarksville, like Neil Diamond. I mean, he was one of the wrecking crew at a point. He's one of the guys.
And he's only now talking about being part of your team. That's the only thing he's talking about.
Well, you know, I'm happy just to be hanging on the tree of the artists that are just hanging off his guitar.
Yeah.
But we made this record, just to sort of answer your question a long way, we made this by kind of making it like the old guys did. So, you know, I say old guys endearingly, but it's like we just ran down a chart, we played it a few times, and then we moved on. And that's the thing. That's kind of why there's magic in, you know, if you hear magic, I believe that's why you hear it. It's because it's just all kind of, it's real. It's real strings, it's real singers, it's real horns, and it's real musicians doing what they do well. So that's kind of where the magic comes from. And I do think with computers we've lost a little bit of that, and I think it's really hard to make this music because you've got to be really committed to kind of playing it a certain way and doing it a certain way. And hey, if people love it, that means I get to keep doing it. So that's a pretty big privilege. It's pretty humbling.
Bradley, just on that theme, that Neil mentioned Joe Camilleri voice already recently spoken to Russell Morris and Ross Wilson, are also icons of Australian music, and there just seems to be, those guys are in their 70s, and this passion they have for still writing a good song and singing and performing well on it. I never get the impression that they do what they do for money, that it's not a motivation to do anything. Most people in Australia go to work because they just simply have to make ends meet. Are you in a position now where it's just about the music, and if you make a quid, that's all well and good?
Well, I mean, when we finish here, I have to quickly go down to Coles because I'm sort of serving at the front register.
Magnificent.
And dancing while he's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and as you know, as people come through Macca's drive-through on my night job, I say, "No, do you want fries?" My record with that, and that's working kind of well. It's working well for me because people mostly are saying, "Stick it up there." No. So, I mean, yeah, I think that to answer that question with a kind of joke, which is, I think we're just addicted to writing songs.
Yeah.
I think we always think the next best one is around the bend because you never know where it is, and look at, like, you know, Hall & Oates, that some of their great songs came 7 or 8 albums deep. I mean, that's huge, you know. I think that's what we're all searching for. Yeah, Joe Camilleri, 50 records. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Now, Slim Dusty knocked out over 100. He's extraordinary. We've been talking a fair bit over the last 18 months, because that's about how long this program's been going, to a couple of people down in Gippsland that call themselves No Promises, Eric Collier and Janine Garvey. You want to have a look at some of their work at some point. And
right.
And they're very much the same. They just can't stop writing music. And Janine's now having sleeping problems. She wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning and writes a song. And it's really quite extraordinary how many she's churning out, and they're all pretty good, I've got to say. And I think that's the difference between being a musician and being someone who writes music. I just think that, you know, it is something that's an art, it's a passion, it's something that a lot of people wish they could do. And if you can create happiness, I reckon that's the thing, isn't it?
I think so. And it's, you know, just sort of to add on to your point, I think the way that you guys are talking about it kind of gives a chance for maybe this music to be found again and to be talked about more, because it's so a part of our lives, this old school music, that I think we forget that how all this music got really popular back in the day was kind of because we shared it, you know, because, you know, you found Hotel California and you would take that tape to your friend or your record to your friend and say, have you heard this?
Yeah.
You have to hear this.
Yeah.
And I think we've lost a little bit of that in the modern times. So, I mean, that's a part of the thing that we're trying to do with this music too, is say, you know, if you like it, tell someone that likes this kind of music that they like it, which is what you guys are doing. That's why I love your show. It's why I love coming on, because, you know, you're playing stuff that is kind of in that ballpark that we all want to kind of live on, you know. So
yeah, and I think
that's part of it.
I don't know whether you've seen the film The Boat That Rocks. Great film if you haven't seen it. Great film if you have seen it, that for that matter. But it's set around the pirate radio thing in the 60s in the UK, and the way people used to sit around at night in nurses' stations and listen to the radio, or girls in dormitories at private schools, and people sitting around the pool and listening to the music and this sort of stuff. And you just can't do that with the crap that's being delivered on radio at the moment in the contemporary stuff. And if we can get people who want to go to come round to our place this afternoon, have a swim, and we'll put some really grouse music on. That's what this is all about. That's what music's about, not seeing if you can, have some kind of protest in a way that's said in English that nobody understands anyway.
That's right. And I think, too, it's like you asked me a question before about, is it about the money? Or, there's always money in the music business, of course, and the more people love it, the more money there is, obviously, and if no one loves it, there's no money. But the fact that you putting this idea of putting a song on around the pool and enjoying it, that's why we do what we do, is because if it adds something to kind of a part of your life or a memory, that's the best thing. It's always the things that people say to you that surprise you. It's like, yeah, this song means this to me because of this reason. It just sort of floors you. And that's a privilege to be in people's lives. I think it's partly why we keep doing it too.
Yeah, I could just picture your face when each video came in from the average punter dancing in their kitchen to your song. I bet you were smiling because the song had affected them, not that you were going to make another $5. So good on you, and I think if you continue that motivation, financial reward will just naturally come. Now, to help you out with financial reward, for people to
Rob's going to sign you a record contract here, I can tell.
For people to tap into the world of Bradley McCaw, find out more about your music, so hopefully they can buy it and you can make a quid. What sort of, is it just the normal old platforms to go and find your work?
Yeah, I think the best thing to do if you really love an artist is to go and sign up to their newsletter. So mine's at bradleymccawofficial.com. So you can hear about, any new music that comes out. We're working on a couple of Christmas songs, kind of like the old school 70s original rock Christmas tunes. So some original kind of stuff. So we'll have that out in December. And then the new album comes out next year. So the best way to if you kind of like what I'm about, I think that's the best thing to do. You can also come and just sort of stand outside my house and wait for me to practice. And the nice thing that some people like to do, because it's free, and the neighbours don't seem to mind if you pick up some litter in the street and things like that.
And get a pen, his address is number 70. No. Well, isn't that the great Billy Joel film clip, which is where he's in the basement and he starts
Matter of trust.
Yeah, and before long he's got 25,000 people standing around outside this basement. That's what we want to do at your place. That's the next big target.
Let's set the date. Let's do it.
Sounds like a plan to me. So the song itself is on YouTube, but what disappoints me, you've got to, clearly downloading the song from an iTunes or somewhere is a great way to make money, but you won't get to see the film clip. But go and have a look at the film clip, and if that song doesn't make you smile, there is something seriously wrong with you, and you need to come on the long run and have a crack. That's our whinging session. But we are really keen to keep in touch, and when you've got new stuff to promote, we'll certainly play it here. But in the meantime, to get a few bucks in your pocket, can people buy the song by downloading it from, say, iTunes or one of those rather than just streaming it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, iTunes, Amazon, I think all those kind of digital platforms you can buy the song. That's a really good point. And yeah, we of course appreciate that. But the physical won't come out till next year, obviously, the album won't come out till next year.
Rob wants to go into Brash's and buy a copy of the record, he said.
Well, we'll have that next year for sure. But
magnificent bit of vinyl. Love it.
That's it. Yeah, going right back.
I can't believe that you can buy a CD for $9.99 at the moment, and the vinyl equivalent is $45. It's just ridiculous. I don't know what's going on.
Back in the day, it was like $5, right? You go to a record store and you'd get this pristine one for $2.
That's it. And when the CDs came out, they were always $4 or $5 more because the sound quality was better. And now it's 5 times the price to buy it on vinyl. That's just ridiculous.
The Bee Gees' "How Can You Mend a Broken Heart" was the first 45 I bought. It cost me 75 cents.
He was 38 at the time.
That was a while ago. Hey, Bradley McCaw, I've learned in the last 15 minutes that you're a pretty good bloke, and I wish you all the very best with what you do, because the best we can do is return the compliment. You've made us laugh, you've made us smile, you've made us tap our feet and take our minds back to those great times, as you said, the 70s and 80s, the best musical time in our lives. And continue good luck to you, young man, and we'd love to chat to you again sometime.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate all your support and your kind words. It does mean a lot and puts a spring in my step as I keep going on and playing music. So thank you for all you're doing. And yeah, I can't wait to come on and update you and share the next video, which is just Rob. We're doing the video now.
Yeah,
The decision. It's going to be just Rob
in shorts,
Santa costume, just sort of dancing side to side for our Christmas song. So look out for that.
I might put a bit of fake tan on. Neil's embarrassed me a little.
Yeah. No, I think if you could write a song called "Bringing Up Your Christmas Lunch," there's your film clip right there.
Done.
See you, buddy. All the very best.
Guys.
Cheers,
Bye.
Bradley McCaw from Queensland, and not only a very fine musician, but a funny bloke as well, which is great.
Absolute ripper. Not only did his song make me smile, but he's just obviously a good bloke.
Well, it will surprise the listeners to know that sometimes we do some preparation for this program, and so I rang him during the week just to give him a heads up because he didn't know Two Blokes Chatting from Adam, and well, except there's twice as many of us,
Yeah.
And he said to me, "What are we going to talk about?" And I said, "I don't think I'll have any worries with that, mate."
We'll find something.
And he just said, "Look, can we just make it a bit of fun?" Which is what I think we did. So we will get that clip. I'll talk to him after the program, and I'll make sure it's okay. But we'll share that clip on our Two Blokes Chatting radio show.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Facebook page, because if you're feeling a bit down the dumps, he is a ripper.